The recent re-release slash rebranding of CBS All Access into what is now Paramount Plus, um, I thought it would be appropriate to review season 1, episode 1 of Star Trek Picard, which I actually recently watched earlier today. Um, and if you didn't already know, Star Trek Picard is a spin-off, one of the many spin-offs. It can also be considered a sequel series to the original 1960 Star Trek show. Anyway, let's get into it. So, this episode and this series, of course, stars Sir Patrick Stewart. I was I tried to do a Patrick Stewart accent there, but I sucked at it. It sounded nothing like Patrick Stewart. That was horrible. Anyway, anyway, enough about my horrible Patrick Stewart not accent, my horrible Patrick Stewart impression. Um, Sir Jean-Luc Picard is played by, like I said, Jean-Luc Picard is played by Sir Patrick Stewart in this series and in this episode. And this series takes place. The series and this episode take place around 14 years after Picard had retired from Starfleet, and he's he's living in France on Earth, and he's just kind of doing his own thing in this series until a teenage girl approaches him one day, comes to his place, and she claims to have mentally known to come to his place. See, there are some things about her that she just knows aren't right, and she knows could turn into problems, and she knows relate to certain problems that I can't get into because those would be spoilers, and this is a spoiler-free review. And basically, she's saying that something in her told her that she should go to him about it, and she's basically saying that she has some sort of connection to him, some sort of connection to his past. So yeah, that's what happens. And so that's basically the story of the episode. The rest of the episode is dedicated to Jean-Luc Picard, trying to figure out what exactly is going on with this girl's whole situation, and how is she connected to him, how she is connected to him. He's trying to figure that stuff out, and it is a thrilling and wild and entertaining and gripping ride. It's a great episode. It was much better than I expected it to be. I expected it to be great, but not as great as it was. Not as great as it ended up being. This episode had spectacular acting in it, especially from the star of the show himself, Jean-Luc Picard, played by Sir Patrick Stewart. He his acting in this episode just is a lot better than everybody else's acting in this episode. Like, everybody else's performance in this episode, although all the performances are great, his is a little better. And he just knows, Sir Patrick Stewart just knew like when to act, when and how to act in this episode. When filming this episode, he must have known, because like he just nailed it. Like, he knew exactly what to do. He knew exactly how to act and what to say. Well, part of what I love about this episode is how, a lot of it's like all of its like, elements kind of like come together to just form something even better. Like, you just take everything good about this episode, and like most of it is like connected with each other. Like, most of the good things in this episode are like directly connected to each other. There's spectacular acting connected to spectacular storytelling, and just a whole bunch of spectacular stuff, and it works. And I love this episode, and this episode has a great story. This is not a perfect episode, but it is a great episode. It's very gripping. It's very fun. It has some really fun action scenes in it. It's got some really fun it's got some really gripping dialogue in there, and just great dialogue, like cleverly written dialogue in it. And I don't know whether or not to consider this an action show or a drama show yet, because there's like been a whole lot of action and a whole lot of drama in this show. I don't know which one to consider it yet. I'll find out later when I watch, more episodes of this show. But it's great. It's really enjoyable, and it's just interesting. And this episode's story is just so compelling. Like, it makes you want more. And the characters in this episode are all great. And this episode has like a whole bunch of mystery, like, themes in it, and like, it has like a mysterious atmosphere, and that works. Those things work very well. Anyway, I'm gonna give this episode an 89% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A-. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return.